Welcome to another episode of the Village Boy podcast. Today we're talking about Chinese billionaire worth 25.5 billion according to Forbes, Jack Ma, co-founder of the website platform Alibaba. Alibaba has proven to be one of the essential places where American small businesses turn to source products from and resell in America. Alibaba created an avenue for a lot of people to get above the poverty line. You could buy some cheap products from $1, $2, $10, turn around, put it on Amazon and sell them for 30, 40, 50, $100 and make your profit. That's what Alibaba gave access to the rest of the world, not just America, the rest of the world are buying from Alibaba. Currently, a lot more people are buying machineries and tools from Alibaba to resell or to use in the manufacturing of other products. This is the co-founder. He resigned from the position a few years ago. He's a philanthropist right now, enjoying his life. And in 2017, um, during a World Economic Forum um interview, January of 2017, so exactly 8 years ago, he said America did not have a strategy of reinvesting in the American people. And for him, that was a failed strategy. There's a language that is being used in America to define exactly what he was trying to say. That's the redistribution of wealth. This is a taboo in America, saying redistribution of wealth. The vastly white MAGA side of America, who make up Republicans, are firmly opposed to the notion of redistributing wealth. To them, when they hear wealth distribution, what they're understanding or hearing from that is you are taking money from white people and apportioning it and giving it to black and brown people who are generally lazy and not as aspirational as white folks. This is what the right typically hears in that conversation. And they're usually opposed to any kind of wealth redistribution in America because that's how it comes up. Every time that a conversation has at the fundamental of it, taking from white people and giving it to black, even if at face value, that's not what happens. All that matters is interpretation of the policy that's being passed or the law that's being proposed. If the right hears it or understands it, that something is going to be taken from white people who have earned it, who have worked individually to earn it, it's going to be taken away from them and given to black people, brown people, poor people who have not earned it, who have not worked for it. They are going to be opposed to it. And they're going to call the other people peasants, beggars, lazy, all kinds of names in the book because they feel like they are working as individuals to earn their keep, and the government is coming in to take away from them and give it to the poor. But Jack Ma, a wealthy billionaire, said the Chinese government decided to reinvest, redistribute wealth across all Chinese people. America wasted its own wealth in ridiculous things like wars that it has never won. In the last 30 years, America has not gone into a war and come out victorious. I don't know if you can win wars, but America has not won any war. And it has incurred a lot of wastage. And that wastage could have been invested in Americans, in American infrastructure, and America would be competing with the likes of China, Singapore. If you have traveled a day out of America, you would know in terms of infrastructure, most American airports cannot compete with most other developed countries' airports because those countries have invested in their infrastructure. So I wanted to look at because Americans hate this word, I mean, the right. hate this word about redistribution, and they associate it to something called socialism, taking money from the rich and giving the poor. That's as basic as Americans can understand. And if you're on the right of things, you are going to be fundamentally opposed to socialism as you love Israel. Your love for Israel is as strong as your hatred for socialism and redistribution of wealth. But if you look at the way China redistributes wealth, it doesn't take money from rich people and give it to black people. It creates access for everybody. America has everything in America is for profit. Education is for profit. Healthcare is for profit. Even good food is for profit. You have stores that brag that they're selling organic products, and the prices of those organic products are 10 times the prices of a regular store that sells regular products. Hence, they're not organic. So, if you want to eat healthy in America, it costs you more money. Everything in America is for sale and for sale to the highest bidder. And Jack Ma is essentially saying it is a wrong strategy. But without further ado, let's go ahead and listen to what Jack Ma had to say.
30 years ago, when I just graduated from universities, I heard America had a wonderful strategy. They outsource the manufacturer job, service jobs. They outsource the manufacturer to Mexico and China, outsource the service job to India.
So nothing was even left in America. Everything was outsourced out. Even the call centers were outsourced to India, but it backfired because the Indians were not very proficient in English. And so they brought it back temporarily, but it was only short lived because they found out that the Philippines had a better handle of the English language. The globalists, the conglomerates, immediately shipped out the customer service jobs to the Philippines. Chances are right now, if you pick up your phone to call any of your call centers, it's ringing in Manila, in one of the Philippine cities. And you're not going to fault the Filipinos for it. They created an environment to attract American jobs to come over. And that's not reinvesting in your people. That's not redistribution of wealth.
There's a book called The World is Flat.
Tom
right?
Friedman,
Yeah.
colleague at the New York Times.
And I think it's a perfect strategy. You know, that the Americans said, we just want to control the IP, we just want to technology, we just want the brand, and leave the lower end jobs for the world. Great strategy. And second is that the American international companies made millions and millions of dollars from globalization. The top 100 companies in America. Amazing. I remember when I graduated from university, I tried to buy a beeper, the Motorola beeper. Cost me $250. My pay at that time is $10 a month as a teacher. And the cost of making that beeper is only $8 for a chip.
I'm going to play that back, but he's a billionaire today. He's worth 25.5 billion from China. There was a point in his life where he made $10 a month. $10 a month in China as a teacher. I need Americans to Americans, let's come together. Jack Ma was making at a point in time $10 a month. When an American tells you that China is a communist country, yes, their system of government is a communist system. So they don't have what you guys label democracy over there. That's a system of government. Their market system is a capitalistic system. If it was not a capitalistic system, you don't go from making $10 to being worth $25.5 billion. You don't go, you don't become that in a communist system of government. You become that in a free enterprise system that attracts American companies to come employ. Matter of fact, China is more capitalistic than America is. China is more a free market economy than America is. So when the right is talking about China, communist China, no, China is it's the poster child for a capitalist economy. Somebody needs to figure out what America truly is. China has free market. Companies are rushing to America to China to produce their products in China. China is also a market. The same companies that are producing their products in China are selling their products in China. The Chinese are consuming the products that they make themselves. So it's a manufacturing economy and it's a consumer economy. You are not that kind of economy if you're a communist economy because it needs free thinking, free invention, free ability to create your own access point where you can develop. See, America is not that. But how is that made possible? Because there's investment in the education of the people of China. There's investment in the business at the very fundamental level by the government. The government is not wasting money to fight wars, is not going to win. The government is using its money that it has acquired from American vultures, American capitalists, American globalists, and some Europeans and reinvesting and redistributing that money back to the Chinese. And guys like Jack Ma come up the ranks and say, okay, you're making all of these products. Where do you get to sell them? I will create a platform called Alibaba where I will gather all the wholesalers and then I will give you access to the American market and Americans can buy from one central location. If that is not capitalism, then I don't know what capitalism is. Because if Elon Musk did that same stuff with PayPal or with another of his platforms, Americans will be salivating and jubilating, especially on the right. So China is the poster child for free market and capitalist economy.
So, past 30 years, IBM, Cisco, Microsoft, they made tons of money. The money, the profit they made are much more than the four largest banks in China put together. The China Mobile Phone, China Unicom, and whatever you name it, put together. Still, these multinational companies made money then. Their market cap grew more than 100 times in the past 30 years. But where'd the money go? This is what I'm curious because as a business people, I always care about the balance sheet. Where the money coming, where the money go. Past 30 years, the American had 13 wars, spending $14.2 trillion. The money.
Did you hear that? 13 wars in 30 years, almost $14 trillion. How did that benefit you? How did that improve your life? How did that put infrastructures in your communities? How did that bring back manufacturers in your neighborhoods? How did that enable you to get in a position where you can compete with another person doing exactly the same thing in China? How? How did your government wasting 14 trillion in useless wars help you? And you listen to the right. The right is telling you that is your country defending you. No, your country needs to invest in you. Your country needs to ensure that you have the skills that puts you on a platform where you can compete. Do you know that when it comes to skill sets, one of the top things that America is exporting right now is English language teachers? America is exporting English language teachers to go to Vietnam and teach English, to go to Thailand and teach English, to go to Cambodia and teach English, to go to Nepal and teach English, to go to China and teach English. The Chinese are learning English so that they can communicate with the Americans and do better business and take more from the Americans. The Americans are not learning Chinese. The Americans are not learning Chinese to do business with the Chinese, but the Chinese are learning English to do business with the Americans. They already speak Chinese. They are adding another language. Every time you add value to yourself, it's an advantage to you. If all you know is English and somebody has to learn English to speak with you, trust me, that person is at an advantage than you. because he can speak his language with some other person that you don't understand and do business with that person. He can speak English with you. You are only limited to the people that speak English. That is America. That is the right that America has created. And Jack Ma is saying it is time for America for the redistribution of wealth in terms of investing in infrastructure, in tools and skills that would enhance Americans so they can compete with the likes of the other developing countries. For far too long, America has been an island, but other countries have caught up. America needs to shake off this shackle and stop seeing redistribution of wealth the way the Democrats paint it as socialism, taking from the wealth from the rich and giving it to the poor. What Jack Ma is talking about is the redistribution of wealth into investment. America sells education. How many kids can afford to go to Harvard? How many kids can afford to go to MIT? Everything in America is a for profit business. Education is for profit, healthcare is for profit, good nutrition, good food is for profit. It is cheaper to eat junk and it's more expensive to eat healthy in America. This is one of the only places on earth where that is a norm, where the prioritization of good health is not a thing. And the right prides itself as the pro life party. That is the hypocrisy that I keep talking about the right. But what we're learning in this short battle of tariffs, what we have learned and we keep learning is that America has misplaced priorities. America has a selfish, individualistic culture that needs to be destroyed so that all of America can grow and prosper.
Going there. What if they spend a part of that money on building up the infrastructure, helping the white collars and blue collars? What strategy good it is? You're supposed to spend money on your own people.
No, Jack Ma, that's not an American concept. You cannot spend money on your own people because Americans are going to say the people need to do it for themselves. It's a selfish culture led by the Republicans that keep driving this narrative that investing in your own people make them lazy, make them dependent. And that's because the Democrat people have given sugar and dependency to the American people. So we have two sick political parties that have kept Americans dumb and dumber. It's unfortunate. The right is shouting, we want free markets, we want capitalism, we want to do for ourselves, but you're not doing for yourselves. You are taking companies that you would have created jobs for Americans, shipping them across because China has created a model that works for Chinese. You are employing Chinese. The Chinese are going to school on government dime, on subsidized education, getting better, learning advanced technology that has not even been introduced in America. When you open your company and you need tooling engineers, you're not finding tooling engineers in America. You would have to apply for an H-1B visa to bring in tooling engineers from China, tooling engineers from India, Singapore. Why? Do you think China does not think that education is important? Do you think that China cannot also commercialize education and make it just as expensive as America makes education? America ensures that only the wealthy and the most privileged are educated at the highest level. America ensures that only the most privileged and wealthy have the best system of healthcare because everything has a price tag, a hefty price tag on it. And Jack Ma is saying here that you have misplaced your priorities and you need to realign your priorities.
Right? Not everybody can pass Harvard. Like me, they're not good at education, right? We should spend money on those people who are not good at school. And the other money, which I'm curious about, is that When I was young, I heard America is bad. Ford and Boeing, those big manufacturing companies. Last 10, 20 years, I heard about is Silicon Valley and Wall Street. The money go to the Wall Street. And what happened? Year 2008. The financial crisis wiped out $19.2 trillion USA alone.
Virtual money. They take the money and bury it in a virtual market, an emotional, unstable market that reacts to every trigger around the world. If there's a firecracker in Iran, the market is going to react. If Donald Trump says something that the market doesn't like, the market is going to lose $4 trillion. If Donald Trump says something that the market likes, the market is going to gain $7 trillion. If there's some civil unrest and there's a protest in Nigeria that affects the price of gas, the market is going to lose $1 trillion. Why can they not invest just a part of that money in rural America, building infrastructure, building companies that are going to put Americans to work, prioritizing and investing in Americans? But that's not America, Mr. Ma. You are saying everything that needs to be said for America to compete with the likes of China. But they've been repeating the same rhetoric they have had of arrogance and superiority complex for 30 years. And now we see China obliterate us in every aspect that matters to human development, except military. And if China wants to surpass American military, China is going to surpass and invest in their military because they have the financial means to put the money to develop their military. It's just not the most important of their priority as it is with the Americans.
They wiped out all the white collars and destroyed 34 million jobs globally. So what if the money is not Wall Street, if the money spent on the Middle East, Middle West of the United States, developing the industry there, that could be changed a lot. So it's not the other countries steal jobs from you guys. It is your strategy.
Okay, but
you do not distribute the money and things in a proper way.
So you heard the man. That's a billionaire speaking. And you hear little riffraffs, Republicans running the street talking about they want to take their money and assign it to Pookie and Ray Ray on the south side of Baltimore. And they're fighting that. But that's not the distribution of wealth that we're talking about. We're not talking about what the Democrats are proposing to just tax the rich, take the money and put the poor people in low housing, and they're not productive in the economy. That's not what Jack Ma is saying. Jack Ma is saying that you ensure that you have a vocational system where kids have access to learn a trade, and it does not break the bank. That's an investment that the government should put instead of building stealths that can be blown up by anybody, that can be stolen by China. Instead of investing $5 billion to build the next generation stealth, invest $5 billion on your American children to learn a trade. They're going to use their hands to build something that would be beneficial to America. $5 billion for a stealth does not help a single American, not one. Not even the person flying the stealth doesn't help them because they don't even get paid enough to fly the $5 billion stealth. But if you go into the inner parts of America, the poorer parts, and you set up training centers to learn how to build washing machines, to learn how to build solar panels, to learn how to electrify, build new modern, ultra modern plumbing systems, centralized plumbing systems, complex and more advanced AC systems, more alarm systems, build complicated advanced technologies in cars. To look at China, to learn, to see how China is rapidly developing so our children can catch up with them. It would be a pride if other countries are actually recruiting American children to come work in there for their technological skills, for their know-how, not just English language. When America is competing with English language with people that have English as a second language, Nigeria, Ghanaians, people that speak English as a second language. These are the people also teaching in Thailand and Vietnam. And you have kids coming from California, people coming from California to fly over there to make $1,000 a month because they can't find work or the income in America. This is the substitute income. That's where our leaders have failed us. For those who say China is a communist country and not a poster child for a capitalist economy, let's look at this mission here. It's going to say Al Jazeera is a Qatar sponsored and they're going to discredit it. But the document says since 2000, Qatar saw the greatest increase in number of millionaires, which rose from 46 to 26,163, given the country. I think Qatar is a country of about a million, 2 million people. But my interest here is China. China saw the second largest increase from 39,000 millionaires in 2000 to 6 million millionaires. 6 million millionaires were created in the last 25 years in China alone. And somebody would tell you that China is a communist country. A communist country in 25 years, 6 million millionaires. No, that's a capitalist economy. That's an economy that has invested in its people and the people are producing wealth. 6 million. And at the trend that China is currently going, China would surpass that, right? If you look at this list, America doesn't even feature on there. So America is no longer creating millionaires as before. You have the new TikTok millionaires and the OnlyFans millionaires. Those are the kind of millionaires that America is creating. Service millionaires, not millionaires that are able to create sustainable long-term wealth. It is important to appreciate that in general, wealth grows kind of proportionate to economic growth. You cannot call China a communist country when you see the proportionate of their business transaction. Yes, their government can be a communist government because it's not a democratic government. So right there, you understand that democracy has nothing to do with the type of market that you run. Democracy is not a flex. Besides, America does not even have a democracy because rich people can buy elections. If you are wealthy enough and you're willing to spend X amount of dollars, you are going to buy whatever elections that you want to buy. You can put whatever politicians you want to put in your pocket. Politicians in America are up for sale. If you buy them, whatever you tell them, they're going to go with your agenda. If your agenda is to reconstruct the children like they do on the left, that is what you're going to spend your money on. And the politicians are going to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. If you're on the right and you want to ship companies abroad, you want to destroy the American workforce, and you want free market where you can come back and sell your products that you would make for cheap in China, that is what you are going to buy the politicians on the right, and they're going to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. That's not a democracy. So calling China a communist country when they've created 6 million millionaires in the last 25 years should be you should be a slap to your face. You should be ashamed because you should be asking yourself in the last 25 years, how many millionaires have you created in relation to China? And what has been the give back from those millionaires? How many jobs have they created? What has been the impact of those millionaires that you created into your economy? Because getting on TikTok and being fortunate to have 2 million people like you and build a platform that makes you a millionaire, you haven't created a single job. You haven't given back to the community. And that's the thing that we're saying. That's the redistribution of wealth. That's not happening in America because on the right, they keep telling us and lying to us that you have to do it all by yourself. It is your own responsibility to do it. Nobody's coming to rescue you. Why the rich are getting abusively rich, wasting money in wars that don't serve your interest, my interest, or any other person but their interest. So for today, The Republican Party gets the F grade from the village boy. But our millionaires, our billionaires, and our business people get the F plus because they have refused to see that wealth is evenly distributed for the prosperity of America. They have refused to have the vision of the likes of Jack Ma to ensure that your greatest assets are your people, that you invest in your people, to ensure that academia is affordable for all Americans. You can choose to go to a 4 year college, you can choose to go to a vocational college, but it's accessible to you. You should learn a trade, you should know something that you're willing to market that thing. So our elite class gets the F plus from the village boy. Continue to like, continue to subscribe, and thank you abundantly for staying loyal to us. It's your host, Tres, for the village boy.